Hey everybody, welcome back to Footy Leagues Around the World. It is your host Ryan. In today's episode, we are going back to Europe, specifically the Balkans. It is Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Footy Leagues Around the World. Footy Leagues, heck yeah!
Bosnia, which I will be calling it for ease sake for the rest of this episode, is located in the Balkan Peninsula in southeastern Europe, surrounded by Croatia and Serbia. As those two countries take their football pretty seriously, Bosnia does too. The country has 7 levels to its footballing pyramid. At the top is the Premier League of Bosnia and Herzegovina, also known as the BH Telecom Premier League for sponsorship reasons, and also referred to as Liga 12. The league is professional and has 12 teams in it. The season typically lasts from July to May, but this year, like most other leagues in Europe, it was called off on June 1st after just 22 games because of the COVID-19 pandemic. In a typical season, teams play each other 3 times, or 33 games. At the end of the season, the top team is declared champion and qualifies for a spot in the Champions League first qualifying round. Teams that finish in places 2 through 4 qualify for the first qualifying round of the Europa Conference League in hopes of making it to the actual Europa League. Now, relegation in Bosnia and Herzegovina is really unique. I can't be 100% sure that this is correct, but from all of my research, this seems to be the current system. Instead of the bottom 2 teams being relegated, the worst team from each of the 2 entities within Bosnia and Herzegovina are relegated instead. Here's what I mean by entity. Since Bosnia and Herzegovina split from Yugoslavia in 1992 and declared independence, the country has been split into 2 separate entities within the country. These are not their own separate countries, but rather political systems with ethnic differences. To the north and the east of the country, you have the Republic of Srpska, where a majority of ethnic Serbs within the country live. The rest of the country is made up of the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, made up of Bosnian Croats. While the entities have their own constitutions and football leagues, from here on out, they're relatively cool with each other. So, back to relegation. The bottom team is relegated, let's say they're a team from the Republic of Srpska. They would then be relegated to the Prva Liga RS, also known as the First League of the Republic of Srpska. If another team from the Republic of Srpska is in second to last place, they are incredibly lucky. This is because they get to avoid relegation altogether. Instead, the next lowest team, who happens to be from the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, gets relegated. This system has worked pretty well over the last few years and only got weird where the bottom 2 teams weren't relegated in 2017-2018. Since then, it's sort of worked itself out. That brings us to the second level of the country's footballing pyramid, where we find 2 separate leagues that we were talking about earlier, the First League of the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina and the First League of the Republic of Srpska. Both leagues now have 16 teams each, which is new for this season because previously the First League of the Republic of Srpska had just 10 teams. Both of these leagues last from August to May, with each team playing 30 games. At the end of the season, the top team from each league is promoted to the Premier League, while the bottom 3 teams are relegated. If you liked how Bosnia and Herzegovina's football pyramid split at level 2, you haven't seen anything yet. At level 3, there are 6 leagues, 4 within the Federation side and 2 within the Republic side. The 4 on the Federation side are split between North, Central, South, and West, and have 14 to 16 clubs in each of them during any given season. Once teams are relegated from the First League, or the second tier of the pyramid, they get placed in whatever group they're geographically located within. Because of this, some of the leagues sometimes add no teams year over year, and sometimes they can add as much as 2 teams in an offseason. Anyway, within these leagues, teams play each other twice to determine a league winner. Here's the confusing part. I legit have no idea how promotion from here works. I think the top 2 teams by points get automatic promotion, while the 2 worst best teams play each other in a single or double elimination tournament to determine the 3rd team that gets promoted. But I can't find solid evidence that this is actually how it works. Some years the champion is crowned as the team that got the 3rd highest points total. Sometimes it's the team that got the 4th highest points total. It's really weird. Relegation from this league is also a bit confusing. 2 years ago, 2 teams got relegated who had the fewest points of the 59 to 60 teams within these 4 leagues. Then last year, 4 teams were relegated, but the points total was all over the place, including this random team that was in 8th place who happened to get relegated. I'm not sure if this is because of a financial issue or something else, but there was no explanation, so it's still unknown. But wait, there's more. On the Srpska side, there are 2 leagues, an East and West League. Both leagues have about 15 to 16 teams depending on the year. One winner is promoted from each of these leagues, while some amount of teams are relegated. I really have no idea how many. That brings us to the 4th tier of the football pyramid. From here on down, we have the canton and regional leagues. On the federation side, 9 of the 10 cantons within Bosnia and Herzegovina have a football association, and within these football associations there are multiple leagues. Sometimes there is just one league, sometimes there are multiple leagues. The number of teams vary within these cantons from 6 to as many as 18. There's a relegation and promotion system in all of these, but at this point I have no idea how it all works. It can be assumed that at this level of the pyramid, all teams are amateur. On the Srpska side, even though there are no cantons, there are multiple regional leagues that are split between center, west, east, and south. The number of clubs also varies greatly by region. At this level, all leagues are called the first league of the various canton or region. In the 5th tier, you've got the second leagues of these various cantons or regions. Again, some of these cantons and regional leagues have multiple leagues within them, some just have one. It really depends on the size of the canton or the region. At the 6th tier of the pyramid, we have the municipal leagues, and at this point there's really very little information about how things work here. The same with the 7th tier, which is just a bunch of leagues that I really don't have info for. There's one national cup competition within the country called the Bosnia and Herzegovina Football Cup. It's initially made up of all teams from the Premier League, the top 8 teams from the Federation First League, the top team from all 4 divisions of the Federation Second League, the top 6 teams from the Republic First League, and the top team from each of the 2 divisions within the Republic Second League. From here it acts as a normal knockout tournament, with the first 2 rounds being single elimination and every other round being double elimination, including the final. The tournament lasts from September to May, and the winner qualifies for the Europa League. There are also 2 regional cup competitions within the country's Federation and Republic entities, the Football Cup of Republika Srpska and the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina Cup. These are your standard knockout competitions. Aside from these various men's competitions, there's also a women's league, the Bosnia and Herzegovina Women's Premier League. It's hosted annually between 6 teams within the country and has been going strong since 2001. If you want to talk about dominant teams, look no further than this league. Besides the first year that the competition was started, the tournament has been won every season by SFK 2000, based in the country's capital of Sarajevo. They are affiliated with the men's team FK Sarajevo, which is one of the best men's teams in the country. Teams are located throughout the country, including in both entities, as we talked about before. 3 teams within the Premier League are located in the country's largest city and capital, Sarajevo, while 2 teams each are located in the southern city of Mostar and the northern city of Tuzla. Teams play in their own stadiums in the Premier League, which are on the older side and range between 3,000 capacity to FK Sarajevo's Kosovo City Stadium, which holds 34,500 people. As far as international rankings go, Bosnia is ranked 42nd in UEFA's country coefficient, meaning just 1 team qualifies for the Champions League, 0 initially qualify for the Europa League, except for their cup competition, and 3 qualify for the Europa Conference League, which is a new competition starting in 2021. A team from Bosnia has never made it to the group stages of either the Champions League or the Europa League, though few teams have made it to the last qualifying round that would get them into the group stage. There are a few notable derbies in Bosnia. The first is the Mostar Derby between HSK Zrinski and FK Velez. It's the oldest major derby in Bosnia, having started in 1922. The clubs have played each other 50 times, with Zrinski having a slight edge with 27 wins. However, the largest and most well-known derby in the country is the Sarajevo Derby between Željezničar and FK Sarajevo. The atmosphere at these matches is similar to some of the classic derbies in Eastern Europe, and you can find things like flags, tifos, flares, and a raucous crowd. The teams have met 140 times, with Željezničar having a slight advantage with 45 wins. Football first reached Bosnia in the beginning of the 20th century, making its debut in Sarajevo in 1903 and Mostar in 1905. When the country was under Austro-Hungarian rule, the first competitions started popping up around 1908, though these were simply small regional tournaments at the time. After the First World War, and as the country became part of the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, more competitions began popping up around the country, and soon a national competition was formed. The national competition, which was part of a competition in the greater Sarajevo area, was meant to find the best team within the sub-association of Yugoslavia, which would then move on to the final competition throughout the entirety of Yugoslavia. After the Second World War started and ended, the Football Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina was formed as a subdivision of the Yugoslav Football Association. The new communist authorities abolished the former league system and disbanded numerous teams while forming others. This Yugoslav Football Association was of pretty high quality and became home to some very well-known Central and Eastern European teams that we know today, like Red Star Belgrade, Partizan, and Dinamo Zagreb. It also included top Bosnian teams like FK Sarajevo and Železničar, who won championships during this period until 1992 when Bosnia and Herzegovina declared independence. There was then a pause due to the Bosnian War, but soon after, in 1993, games began again. At this time, the country was split into two leagues based on ethnic makeup and region. Bosnian Croats launched the Football Federation of Herzegovina and the First League of Herzegovina, while Bosnian Serbs launched the First League of the Republika Srpska. In 1995, the First League of Bosnia and Herzegovina was formed. These three leagues played until 1998 and 2000, but were unrecognized by FIFA and UEFA. This is because those two entities would only support an association operating within the officially recognized state, as formed by the Dayton Peace Agreement. Eventually, in the fall of 2000, the country's first unified league was formed, which we know today as the Premier League of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The format has changed slightly over the last 20 years, but has been played without interruption, at least until COVID-19, for those 20 years. The most successful teams since the formation of the Premier League have been Železničar and Zavinski, who have each won the Premier League 6 times. They are followed closely by FK Sarajevo, who have won the league 5 times. Clubs can register up to 30 players during a season and can't have more than 6 foreign players on a roster in the Premier League. Since Bosnia and Herzegovina are so diverse and ethnically split, it's common to find players either Bosnian and Croatian or Bosnian and Serbian. Foreign players from these countries are also fairly common, as well as foreigners from other Central and Eastern European countries like Slovenia, North Macedonia, Montenegro, Kosovo, and Ukraine. Other foreign players hail from countries like England, Turkey, Russia, Brazil, Argentina, the Gambia, Ghana, and Senegal. For those who can't go to games, most games are broadcasted live on Arena Sport, a pay TV network available within all former Yugoslavian states. For those outside of the country, you might be out of luck watching a live game. Searching the league on YouTube in both Bosnian and English brings back a few videos and highlight shows, but nothing very recent or consistent. Some clubs, like FK Sarajevo, have their own YouTube channel with highlights, but that's about it. If you know anywhere else to find highlights or streams of the league, you know what to do. Leave a comment or a link below. Well, that's it for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Thanks for watching. If you've liked these videos, make sure to leave a like or subscribe to the channel, as it is very helpful for our growth. Coming up next, we are headed to Africa. It is Botswana.